What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company with your host, Jackie Marshall Clark.
I'm happy to be with you for the August edition of What's New Radio. July was challenging for employees and crews in the aftermath of Hurricane Elsa. But as we powered through the cleanup and the restoration of supply, Light and Power received many kudos of appreciation from customers around the island, in particular for our frontline crews as they worked safely and swiftly to restore electricity. One resident of Whitewood Dark Hole in St. Joseph even penned a poem for the work of the crew from van number 97. The power went when the rains came. We endured suffering, we endured pain. Thank God it was restored today, thanks to Blades, Vidal, and Tremaine. Just one of the many kudos from our social media pages. Thank you. In this month's program, in recognition of the work of our crews and teams in restoring power to the island, I have invited Samuel Blades from Distribution, Chevon Corbin from Asset Management, Zenada Forde from Customer Care, and Wendy Reid, a customer, to give us their perspective and experience in the aftermath of Hurricane Elsa. Thanks for coming in. We're here to talk about your experiences in the aftermath of Hurricane Elsa and the restoration of electricity to Barbados from your perspective. So now, about 2 weeks prior to Hurricane Elsa, a freak storm caused some stress to the electrical grid. Added to that, and along with our hurricane preparation planning, it's fair to say Light and Power was ready and prepared for the restoration as soon as the all clear was given by the DEM, the Department of Emergency Management. So let's start with talking about the extent to the damage. Sammy, could you share some of your thoughts on what you saw when you went out on that first morning after the all clear was given?
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be on the program. My experience as I went out, there were down power lines. There were a lot of trees. Some roads were blocked. The rain was still there. The rain was still falling. We had blown fuses, transformers on the poles, broken conductors, wires off the insulators. Some poles completely fell to the ground. So it was a bit chaotic, but it was nothing that we were not accustomed to in disaster situations.
Well, I really wanted to congratulate all of you for working so quickly and so safely through the entire restoration. And I'd like to add that although the damage was significant, the issues that we dealt with were not uncommon following a weather system like Hurricane Elsa. So, Sammy, I really want you to share with our listeners today an experience of yours, an experience from being a linesman, and tell us about one of your most challenging restoration jobs.
Being a linesman, you have to be always ready. You have to be physically fit and expect that when you're going out to do a job in a disaster situation, that it is not a routine situation job. So our trucks are well equipped with all the materials that we would need to do any job. The splices, the wire, the insulators, the fuses, and a good team. That makes the job easy. When we get on the job area, the location, we have to assess the situation to make sure that it is safe for us to work in. And then we start to work. The most challenging job during that situation was to restore supply to one customer. And at Light and Power, every customer come. This customer is located in an area called Castle Grant. And it's about half a kilometer down a rough, slippery, uneven terrain to get to that one customer. And when we look at the job the first day, we went in, we assessed the situation. There were trees and broken down branches, wires, conductors all over the area, and it was wet. We had abandoned the job that day. And understand the customer is out of supply for about 7 days now. They want their supply back on hand. We abandoned the job that day and we went home, and I, as a crew leader, went home and I thought about it and said, what can we do to get this job all ready? Early next morning, came out to work and talked to the supervisor and said if we have some more manpower. She gave us a contractor to help cut the trees to make it easier for us. We went back on that day, knowing that the truck can't get to every pole, especially down at the bottom where the house is. We went on foot, we started to hike it down. We took our sticks. We have a stick called a telescopic stick. We attached a cone and salt to the end of it. So the areas where the truck can't get into, we started to cut these branches from over the power line by hand. This stick is 30 feet in the air, and we're pushing it, we're sawing back and forth to get the branches down. And as soon as we get those branches off the wire, we climb the poles with our spikes, and we put back on the wire and the insulators. And we work everywhere from the bottom where the customer host out to the source, which is where the fuse is at the beginning. And we work all day into the night, cutting trees, we binding the wires onto insulators, placing conductors, and coming back to the source. And just before we get to the source again, the rain came down. We all soak, but we're not giving up. And about 6:30, we finally got back to the main road. We took off our earths and we began to close the fuse. And when we closed that fuse, one of the fuse came out again. We went back down, we hiked back down again because the road is wet now, the steel was happening. And we realized that one wire fell off the insulator. Back down again with our spike, climbed that pole, put the wire back on the insulator. And then just when we were finishing up, the customer came home. So we put on the supply. We said that we're not going to leave for our folks' supply. We restore the supply. And the beauty about it was the satisfaction we got to give that customer that night, after waiting for about 7 to 9 days, back her supply. And she was all elated and a good job, well done. I congratulate the team. The team worked well. And for those persons who we may not be seeing alongside us that contributed to making the job a success, like we had some persons bringing our foods, our guys bring meals for us. Customers give us water on the way, and our supervisor come and give us some support as well. And their encouragement encourages us to go a long way to make the job a success.
And Sammy, it could not have been a better share. We really appreciate that. I so like the use of the words hike. You had to hike to get the job done. And I like that you even went home and during the night, you still thought about that customer and the job and wondering what to do to get it fixed. And then how elated she was to get the electricity. Just one customer and how happy she was. I hope you've been reading social media and all the special thanks given to you guys. So yes, let me reiterate, job very well done.
Thank you, Jackie.
So along with our crews, our customer support and call center teams were on the front line of the restoration effort as well.
Good morning. I am Zenada Forde, customer support agent rep in the call center. The experience for me was both rewarding and stressful. Notably, the number of calls to the call center increased. There were, of course, in the thousands. They were reporting a number of problems across the island, down lanes, trees on power lanes, sparking wires, burning poles, and of course, a number of people that were out the supply. There was also an increase in the number of emails reporting those issues as well. So those were a number of things that we had to take care of in the call center and making the reports through the emergency center through the various channels. It was, however, a rewarding experience when people called to say thank you, job well done, and that they appreciate the hard work that the crews were doing.
And Zenada, there's one question I want to ask you. Did you operate from home, and what was your home situation like? Were you all good, prepared for the hurricane? Tell me about that.
Okay, I had to go into the office because I was without supply. So I usually operate from home, but at that time, we did go into the office immediately after the all clear was given. So we were working from the Friday afternoon and we worked throughout. I worked at the office until about Wednesday. That's when power to me was restored.
A lot of people use the new ECI Restore app after Hurricane Elsa. Chevon, tell me about that. And was that really helpful to us at Light and Power?
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the program. The ECI Restore app was launched, just like you said, after the passage of Hurricane Elsa. And it did allow all of our customers, those with technical experience and otherwise, to share the condition of the poles, transformers, conductors, wires, amongst other assets that we have in the area. The app was very helpful. We saw 6,000 downloads from both the Google Play and Apple Store. And then there were well over 10,000 customer-related complaints. As you can imagine, it took the pressure off of the call center, but it also allowed us to present geographically where each complaint was based on our grid system. And then we were able to route it to our teams for them to carry out the necessary damage assessments.
Wow, what an innovative idea coming from your team, Chevon, and it worked very well for us at the time most needed. And I think one of my favorite features was the fact that customers could send photographs of exactly what they saw and what the damage was. And when they sent it, you saw it as well. Tell me about that.
The photograph feature was very useful. It did help in contributing to the understanding of the impact that we had to our grid, as well as to our teams as they go out they're able to see the amount of work that is necessary to be carried out and the number of customers that would have been impacted because of that particular issue. The ECA Restore app is now inactive and will be active once again should we need it.
Thank you very much, Chevon, and I hope that we don't need it anytime soon. Let's turn now to Wendy. Wendy, good to have you on What's New Radio today. What parish are you from?
Thank you for having me. I am from the parish of St. James.
So here's one of our customers from St. James. Tell me, Wendy, how prepared were you for Hurricane Elsa?
Well, I am one of those weirdos who actually prepare for hurricane season before June 1st. So prior to Elsa turning up, I would have had my supplies in place. I would have taken care of anything that needed to be dealt with at home, barring, emergency things that may turn up, some little weird thing happening. But I was pretty much ready for anything that could happen. And, it's really just an encouragement for others to do the same. So that way you're not kind of like flying by the seat of your pants and really scared when stuff turns up, But I was pretty much ready for anything that could have happened.
So I'm so glad to hear that from you and in your voice. That's from the customer. I didn't say it on this occasion. Tell me about when you lost your electricity supply. Can you describe that experience to me? Tell me about it.
Yes, we actually lost our electricity supply that morning about just before 7 a.m. And that was not so much of an issue for me because everything that needed to be charged was charged. And I was able to get ahead with doing things that I needed to do during the day. Stuck at home, but hey, I was able to watch my movies and listen to my music and that kind of stuff. I was a very happy person. And we went without electricity basically until just before 8 p.m. If my phone power went down, I was able to pop outside into the car, charge it up when I was ready to go again. I had options,
So I am so glad to hear that. Yes, you were one of the fortunate customers who would not have been without supply for hours or actually for days. But I think from your end, it's so good to know that you took heed of all the, information given before. You were prepared, you were ready, you had your backup charging and everything. So whatever the experience was going to be, you were prepared for it.
Yes, I was. I remember being out on a job because I do house cleaning services. And I saw one of your guys in traffic, and he looked so tired, really. And I just pulled up next to him and I thanked him for the job that they were doing and everything. And I made a big man cry. I mean, it was like, but just reassuring them that we were praying for them and really thanking them very much for doing without for themselves and just pressing in there for us. And I just thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Just thank you guys for the phenomenal job that you have been doing. Do not let up on what you're doing.
Wendy, that was the story of the day. Thank you very much for sharing that. And for the guys who work so hard, guys and gals, all the teams who work so hard, it's so great to hear sometimes from a customer perspective that they see, they acknowledge, and they really want to thank them and encourage them to continue to do the work safely.
Yes.
Thank you again, Wendy, for coming in. Thank you.
You are so very welcome.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
I haven't had the opportunity to congratulate and publicly thank all our 2021 Luminosity Award winners. We certainly appreciate your hard work and dedication so that our customers can count on us to provide reliable and safe electricity to power every moment of every day. You can keep up to date with what's happening at Light and Power by following us on Facebook and Instagram at BLPC Online or on Twitter at TweetBLPC. You can contact a customer care representative online using the customer service portal on our website, blpc.com.bb, or by telephone at 626-4300. I'm Jackie Marshall Clark. Join me again next month. Bye for now.
This program was produced for the Barbados Light and Power Company by SFA Communications.